Hello, hello, it's Martin here with your weekly roundup of all that matters in life. As if sausages and how you steer a hot air balloon. My favourite kind of crisp, if I was to live in one, is really more important, as it probably should be, than COVID and collapse of the world economy and pandemics and all that kind of rubbish. Anyway, if you like this complete alternative view on life and questions, then like it. And if you want to get more involved in a kind of special kind of way, then subscribe to my channel. That's a bit creepy, wasn't it? Yeah, whatever. Right then, yes, so this is your chance to ask me questions about anything, and a few they are varied, and that's how I like it. I like it. It keeps me fresh, keeps me on the ball, it keeps my brain ticking over, stops me going into some kind of whatever vegetative state that people do when they don't think enough. This is how it all starts. You can ask Martin on Ask Martin Monday, hashtag Ask Martin Monday, beep, beep, beep. And that's on Twitter at TV Martin Roberts. Send in your questions. You can also drop your questions here, or the various other ways. Are there various other ways? You could send me a letter. Can you imagine that? Dear Martin, here's a ramble. I once had a letter that got delivered to me, which was addressed to Martin from the telly, house with a yellow door, West Country, and it got to me. They'd obviously seen some kind of article about me in a magazine or something, where they had a picture of me outside my house, which does have a yellow door. It's my sunny yellow door. I'm really happy every time I walk through it. It found me. I mean, what's the chance of that? I mean, what is the chance of that? Presumably, I don't know if this exists, and if you work in one or know somebody who works in one, please tell me. Is there some kind of post office department where all those completely random letters get sent? I'd quite like to work in that, you know. So you get all these letters which have got just random things written on them, and you've got to try and work it out. Father Christmas, that's the easy one. But just other things, like Martin off the telly, house with the yellow door. It got to me. So somebody had to sit down and look at that and go, Martin, which kind of Martin's on the telly? Google Martin, blah, 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 blah. Oh, there's a Martin, yeah, there's Martin this, Martin that. But the other West Country, that narrows it down. And then you put here, I don't know how you do it, but it's been like an investigator. Exciting. Okay. Whatever, hiccup, excuse me. Anyway, what was that about? Can't remember. I haven't even had a question yet. 3 minutes 25 in. Let's start off. Willy-nilly says, Martin, what is your favourite tool? Well, wow. What is my favourite tool? Well, I have to say, I am a bit of a power tool fan. The introduction of better quality battery-operated power tools has really made a big difference to my life. Yes, as the amp hours increased, my happiness went up accordingly, and you can now get 5 amp hour batteries. Oh my gosh, 18 volt 5 amp hour batteries. My golly, I am in hysterics. Actually, I have to say, Lidl's doing a great range of slightly cheaper, but really, for what they are, pretty darn good tools. Like $19.99 for the base model electric drill and all that kind of stuff, and the batteries are an extra £9 or something. But so it's like, wow, and they're only 2 amp hours. My battery's bigger than your battery. So anyway, this battery operated. What a change that's been. Reminds me of when I was a kid, you know, and those little tools you used to have, and there was one that was a battery operated drill. And I was just like, oh wow. So you now get all sorts of things battery operated. Yeah, I saw a battery operated chainsaw the other day in Travis. Like, wow, that's Travis Perkins. I did a style of you had to be in the groove there, you know. Travis, we call it Travis. It's actually Travis Perkins. It's a builder's merchant. It's about as unglamorous as it gets. But I love Travis Perkins, actually. It's a great shop. It's already a shop, but it's a builder's merchant. But yeah, Travis. I was in Travis. I was thinking, they're going to be thinking, you know, flowers in the window. And she goes, I was like, what is that? There'll be flowers in the window. What's the song by Travis? Flowers. Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So I was in Travis, and they have got a battery operated chainsaw. Like, wow. I mean, I don't know if I could cut down many trees. You'd have to have a massive battery. Never mind 5 amp hours. You need 10 or 20 amp hours for that one. So there you go. Anything battery operated is good. Yeah, I'd have to narrow it down. I'd say a multi-tool. Have you come across a multi-tool? It's kind of like a buzzy thing. Well, there's a picture on there. So it kind of buzz. And they're very cool, and they can be used for well, it depends on what you put on the head of it. But they can cut through things. They can sand things. I'm limited on BBC sound effects library. Well, yes, the BBC sound effects. You see, when I started out in radio, everything was kind of It wasn't digitised. No. And there was this thing called the BBC Radiophonics Workshop, and they produced all these sound effects for everything BBC. So a door, slamming door, you know, chains rattling, a dog barking, and it was all done by sort of people in tweed jackets in recording studios, BBC, knocking things, building things, making the sound stuff, and it's just fantastic. And they did all the sound effects for Doctor Who and all sorts of stuff, and it was awesome. Wow, I am so rambling tonight. What is going on here? I'm sorry. I'll get on with some questions today. Mandrake Fraser. Hello, Mandrake. What is your favourite UK city from a purely architectural perspective? Well, I'm very looking at that. I'm outside Bath, and I have to say Bath is pretty darn stonking. If you've not been to Bath, it's a great weekend away or a holiday. It's just amazing, right? I think one of the big things was a lot of it was destroyed in fire in the Georgian period and rebuilt. So a lot of it is very similar in terms of its architectural style, and it's Georgian. Now, Georgian, some people find boring, but actually it's very, very regimented, and when you put it all together, it's blooming spectacular. So when you have the Royal Crescent, which is just, you've probably seen it, they've done concerts out there and Pavarotti and singing fireworks, and it's just amazing. But there's a backdrop, this beautiful Georgian architecture, and Queen Square, which is just amazing, and it's just all gorgeous. Anyway, for Bath, so it's probably Bath. Yeah, Georgian Bath. Wow, amazing. But there's lots of beautiful cities. We're so lucky. York. I mean, oh my gosh, York. The York Minster. The Rambles, is it? The Rambles in York? Yeah, I think it's like that. Anyway, amazing. Edinburgh. Who can't love Edinburgh? Just Chester. We're so lucky. We've got some amazing cities in Britain. But Bath is probably my favourite, and because I live very close to it. Next question. Wendy. Hello, Wendy. Oh, Wendy, this sounds like a problem. My neighbour has put up a really high fence between my house and theirs. It's so high, I feel like I'm in a prison and should go out in the garden for an hour a day and walk or run round. It's a fence. If a fence is over a certain height, is permission needed? Well, the first thing with neighbours is you really don't want to fall out with them, right? If you can help it, try and just solve issues amicably, because if you get into the situation when you're having an argument or animosity with the person who lives next to you, trust me, and I'm sure if you're going through it, it will ruin your daily life, because you will just feel on edge coming into that place which should be your place of escape. So Wendy, I feel really sorry that you're going through this. It's pretty awful. First thing to do is talk. You should have talked, or they should have talked to you and said, look, what height of, and have started that conversation. You do have a certain thing called a right to light. Every property has a right to light, and something blocks your right to light. You do have a legal recourse, but again, it's just you don't want to get into the legal side of things. If I was you, I would try and just talk to them and say, look, how about a compromise? How about the top 18 inches you make out a trellis? Okay, so it's still a fence, it's still a dividing line. You can grow things over it, but at least if it's got plants growing over it, it won't be quite so imposing on my little garden. So maybe try that approach. In terms of legalities, yes, there might be legal clauses, which means they can't do it, but again, it's just proving them and going down the courts. It's people have made themselves bankrupt taking neighbourly disputes to court over inches, literally, of ground, and it's so sad. The only people who win in the end are the lawyers. So if you can avoid that, to have a word, say, look, can we just redo this fencing? Can we just have the top 18 inches as a trellis, so at least it doesn't feel quite so imposing on my side? Maybe that'll work, Wendy, I hope so. GRW, interesting question. Martin, we all know that personal hygiene is important. When you go shopping, do you buy bars of soap, bottles of squirty soap, or are you a wipes man? Wipes? Who uses wipes? What for what? I mean, in the shower, I use squirty soap. Bars of soap, I mean, you don't really use those much more. No, it's in a bottle, isn't it? I mean, even by the side of the sink, there's that kind of a squirty thing, isn't it? So I would say I'm a squirty soap man. And wipes? No, I think I abandoned those when I was a baby. Matthew Foster. Hello, Matthew. What is more unforgivable? Buying a property at auction without viewing it and reading the legal pack, or leaving crumbs or jam in shared butter through shoddy knifemanship? Well, Matthew, it's a really close thing. There is, frankly, a horrible sense of yuck, yuck, yuck when you just come to the butter jar, or alternatively go into the jam jar and it's got bits of butter in. It's just, even if these are people you live with and love, it's still just not on, Particles of food, yuck. Doesn't work. Buying a property at auction without reading the legal pack is really seriously dangerous. You know, you could lose shed loads of money. You could buy something which isn't at all as it's described. You could face financial ruin. You know, it could all just go horribly wrong, and your entire investment could go literally to foot. But on balance, I think it's definitely crumbs and jam. Ugh, no. No, can't be done. I'm trying a new technique here, by the way. I'm actually scrolling down the screen on my computer to get the questions. Ooh, very high tech. I used to print them out on a piece of paper. So if they excuse a slight delay when I do that, it's like, it works on one level, but it's quite delayed on another. Leslie Bowman, did you make a new series before lockdown, or will we have to wait a while longer for that? Hope you all stay safe. Thank you, Leslie. Hope you're staying safe too. So we were in the middle of making a new series of Homes Under the Hammer when lockdown struck, and we'd filmed lots of properties at auction, all set up, ready to go to them, and then everything came to a grinding halt, didn't it? We are in the process of trying to find ways to get back to filming because we're halfway through a series. So yes is the simple answer. We were making a new series. Hopefully some of that series can be completed, and hopefully we will be able to complete the rest of the series before very long, because it would be very sad if we couldn't. Patricia Galin, if you had to choose between location and award-winning architecture, what would it be? Well, you'd like to think the award-winning architecture has been good and done in a good location. So I always err on the side of location, because you can often improve a house. Well, you can virtually always improve a house. Always improve a house. You can't change the location. So I would generally go for the location rather than the architecture. But nice architecture and a great location would be even better. So, final question today comes in from YouTube, and yes, you can post your questions here underneath the property clinics. So do that. Don't forget, you can also do it elsewhere, but I'll remind you of those in a minute. But this is from Frank and Laura Barrett, and it's, do you watch much Homes Under the Hammer? Well, you know what? I'm really proud of the show. So if I happen to be around and it happens to be on, of course I will watch it. And it's always good to see the stuff I've done. It's like a trip down memory lane often. It's like, oh wow, I remember that. And it's always nice to see what people have done, because I don't go back for the reveals, right? So I don't go and see the finished product. So I see it for the first time in the voiceover, and then I don't see the whole story. So sometimes it's really nice to watch it. It is always slightly surreal, and the surrealist place to be watching it is if I'm out and about, especially in like a television shop. Like I was in Costco a few weeks ago, and they had like a massive bank of television stretching like for about half a mile. But and there was just like, they were all out tuned to Homes Under the Hammer. At one point, I'm on there, and it's a very big screen. It was like a big picture of Martin. I was like, I'm filling Costco with hundreds of Martins, and it was all a bit strange. But yes, very, very, very funny. So yeah, I enjoy it. It's a great show. I'm really proud of it. Thank you for the question. So that's it. If you want to take part in this, you can ask me the questions. It's Ask Martin Monday. Hashtag Ask Martin Monday. It's on Twitter at TV Martin Roberts. Don't forget to like this video, otherwise I get very upset. Subscribe, even better. Love you. And yeah, we will be back, or we? Who's the we? I will be back with more of this stuff next time.